My name is Tim Hughes, and my big idea is that 22% of salespeople will no longer be required by the year 2020. What's happening is that the way that people are buying has changed. So that in the past, what would happen is that you would actually go to the supplier and get 80% of the information. Now what people are doing is researching online. So when I recently bought a car, I just went to Google and I looked up what the car was on Google, and the only reason I actually needed to talk to the salesperson was that I needed to get them to part exchange the car that I had, and I needed to finance the purchase. And more people, especially digital natives, are used to doing it and researching and doing it on mobile. So the role of the salesperson is changing in the way that they're reacting with procurement. Really what we're seeing is that there's going to be two things. One is that either the salesperson is going to become a order taker, so someone rings up and says, I want to buy something, which is fine, it's been happening for years, or what happens is that the person has to work with the buyer. And the trick that the salespeople are going to try and do is actually try and pick the buyers when they're actually doing the research. But ultimately, as the buyer goes through the purchasing process, they need to be collaborating and working with the sales organisation to make sure that they're actually getting the right specification for what they want. Well, there's a number of ways that the salespeople are using technology to get hold of the buyers and to pick up on that research early. And I write about that on my blog because I write about it from a sales perspective. But there's also ways that we could start collaborating online using Facebook type products, but for the enterprise, to allow us actually to collaborate. Even the sort of old request for proposal RFP process can actually move online, and there can be a discussion with one or many suppliers to go through that process and capture what's actually being said, so no one can actually say, you've got an audit trail of what's being said. The return on investment for social media was proved out probably about 2 years ago. I was in the office recently when somebody came into the office, one of the consultants, and said, I've just been to a customer and they knew more than me. How did that happen? And I thought, well, do you not understand that there's this thing called the internet? And you can go onto the internet and you can find out pretty much anything. And any procurement person or project manager or whatever within the project, if they were they're good ones, they would have gone on and actually done the research and knew what product or service that person was going to sell. So that change has taken place.